right, should be up and running here, and we're gonna have the closing bell any second. There it is. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for February 8th, 2022. Q's up 0.8, or Q's up 1.1, SPY up 0.8, IWM up 1.68. Let me take a look at this hourly because I actually haven't looked at the IWM hourly. Okay, hasn't failed on the sell setup quite yet, but SPY and Qs as well are threatening to do so. There it is on the Qs and on the SPY. So we're basing more towards the top. 20 MA is starting to curl up underneath. Now, not ready to be bullish quite yet on this. All right, we're very sideways still. You can see the daily chart here, right? And the daily chart, red, green, red, green. So choppy stuff these last few days. And I felt like it really had an impact on the quality of trades that we had available to us today. So we'll review those and then talk about what to expect going into the rest of the week. All right. So we'll start here just with the market. As long as this high here on the Qs, 361.40 remains intact, it will remain bearish, but because we haven't really gotten follow through so far on this daily sell setup, it does seem a little bit more likely. I hinted at this yesterday. It does seem a little bit more likely that the sell setup is going to get challenged and potentially fail. All right, because the hourly is not following through, and if the hourly is not following through, the daily cannot follow through lower. Okay, but what we're using is just the hourly to clue us in ahead of time to see when that this hourly will start to challenge the daily. Okay, so same patterns across the board here, Qs and SPY as well. So that'll keep it nice and easy. SPY's even a little bit more closer to failing on this hourly downtrend. All right, so we'll keep an eye out for that tomorrow. On the SPY here, it's over 452.80 over that, no longer bearish. And then if we take out this sell setup on the daily, we'll be looking to be bullish. All right. Also, just want to reiterate, we are doing open house this week. Okay, so it's free for you to attend. So if you want to come and trade, or you have some questions about methodology, you can get them answered. Okay. All right, let's go over plays from today. So today I thought was a unique challenge. Sometimes, the trades aren't there. Sometimes the setups aren't there. For me today, the fills just were not there. And that is tough because you put yourself in the position, you know what looks good, but you're just not able to take advantage. But what can you do? That's the way it is. So GoCo was the first thing I tried this morning. Sell setup right here. Here it is on the 1 minute. Looks even better. Okay, so there it is on the GoCo. Just a 1 minute sell setup. This would have been fine actually to play as a 1, 2, 3, but I wasn't aware of this gap until later. So here's the daily chart. So clearing support there, like that quite a bit on the GoCo. I thought that was pretty nice. We had a lot of pretty decent gap downs, and a lot of them didn't really go anywhere. Edit was gapping more, but because it stayed at support here, initially in the morning looked like it may break the support. This never cleared, so never ended up playing the edit, but thought there was some potential there. KPTI also into a good amount of support. You can see that support definitely kicked in there on the KPTI. So these are ones we can watch moving forward to see if that support weakens, if they set up again, maybe a 1, 2, 3 continuation in a couple days to continue lower. So, some good gaps there, but they just didn't, they were at tough locations. I thought that was pretty consistent throughout a lot of the plays today. I did have a call in the GNW that I decided to cancel. This was a breakout on the GNW, a lot like the EXPR. Okay, here's the base on the GNW, basing, and then does a breakout, GNW. Here was the EXPR yesterday. Very similar type of play. There it is, base and then breakout. Now, on the GNW, the why I canceled this was because after the shakeout, I expected to get a event. That was the moment in time to me. Once we got that shakeout, here it is on the 2-minute also off the 20 MA. Okay, that was what I wanted to see, was immediate reversal, because shorts that got trapped in here are going to want to cover as soon as it becomes a bottoming tail and comes right back up to the top of the base. Longs that might have trailed a bit too tight and see this become a bottoming tail and then might have got shaken out are going to want to get back in. So I'm expecting, all right, people are trapped, people are eager to get back in. Let's see what that move is made of. What does that look like? I really just wanted to see how much we get on that first move, and if that ends up being it, then I'll take the whole thing. That's fine. That's really what I'm playing for. It's just that reaction to that being trapped. So when it came back in, I said, well, that's not what I'm looking for. This thing doesn't have as much momentum as I had hoped, right? And perhaps the trapped traders are not going to be as trapped or as urgent to get out as I would have hoped also. So that ended up being canceled. It did work a little bit. I don't think it even made an R. I think it just like a penny shy almost made an R. I think, yeah, was okay. And I guess it worked to some extent, but that's fine. There were a couple plays today, so I ended up passing on this. I also passed on the WMG. This was the only thing I gave you numbers for here in the afternoon, coming out of lunch there, and that was to play this base here. Nice shakeout there on the WMG, right there inside that base. So this would have worked out okay. This one was a little bit on the wild side. Those of you that have been in the room where I've done the turnaround trader formula, you know this strategy is the gap berry. It's one that I put a lot of work into. It's not that, I created or it's new or anything. It's just that it's one that there was a period of time where we got a lot of these in a row and they were all closing either at the low of the day or the high of the day. So if it was a gap bully, it was the high of the day. If it was a gap berry, it was low of the day, right? Ended up letting it go. Just I thought it was a little bit on the sloppy side, just a little bit on the jumpy side. So that ended up working. So a couple things that were good that I ended up letting go. A couple things that were good that I couldn't get filled on. This EHTH, I ended up getting filled a really bad fill, but that was on my fault. I didn't change it to a limit order fast enough, and so I got filled all the way down here, like 20 something, when it should have been up here under 50. So there's some stuff out there. I wouldn't say it was easy, but I just felt like the lack of getting good execution today made things a little bit challenging and probably reduced my aggressiveness is why I decided, GNW, I have a good reason. I think probably on the WMG, it was just, reduced aggressiveness because it was a little bit tricky. I think and then the other one, I also tried the UTZ. UTZ couldn't get filled, wouldn't fill me on this. So I'm trying to short this breakdown at lunch. After that, I think it was a little bit hard to stay engaged, but that's just part of it. It's something we don't have control over, so it's not something we should get too annoyed about. But definitely, that GOCO was hard to watch, go without me. So, but that's trading for you. All right. Hopefully, we have a lot more to choose from, and I can kind of move on a little bit quickly because I think. That's just always going to be a part of it. Things on an uptick, things hard to get filled, especially if you're playing gap down short. But if we have, I think, more to look at, more to choose from, it's that much easier to move on from it. When there's not as much to look at, not as many setups, not as many trades to take, then the ones that don't let you play them, don't let you in, they seem to linger a little bit more, at least the pain from not being in them. So I think things are picking up, though. I felt like today we had a lot nicer set of gaps, and Thursday and Friday of last week, not so much Monday. Also, we had a nicer set of gaps. So hopefully we'll continue to roll and pick up momentum. All right, guys. Hope you did well today, and we'll be back at it tomorrow. Have a good evening.